Hey, this is Thomas Spark, back with another video. Today we're going to be looking at private internet access. We're going to review it. We're going to talk about some of the features, the pricing, what kind of speeds you're going to be able to get with private internet access. We're going to talk about if it has any leaks or what kind of things the application does right. We're going to look at the website. We're going to look at some of the services offered, look at what they can improve. So, actually in this video, the first half of it, I forgot to unmute my microphone, so I'm doing a voiceover here of the footage. It should be okay, not a big hassle for you to watching, so stick around and we're going to check out private internet access in this in-depth review here. So right now we're going to go ahead and take a look at pricing on the private internet access homepage. So as you can see, we're going down the web page here. We have the monthly, yearly, and 6-month plan. So right here we got the monthly plan for $6.95. This is actually a pretty good price. $33 for a yearly. Monthly price, you got $39.95. That's probably the cheapest price you could get for a yearly plan as well as a monthly plan. The 6-month price it's not that cheap, much cheaper than the yearly plan. It's only $35.95, so it's really only $4 difference for a 6-month difference in the plan. So if you're going for a 6-month plan, I would recommend maybe TorGuard over private internet access because that's only $29.99. And so yeah, private internet access definitely wins though in the yearly and monthly department for probably the cheapest VPN subscription you could find. That's going to be a decent VPN with good speeds and everything like that. So right here, let's take a look at some of the features they're talking about. So it has PTP support, which means it's going to work with your torrenting. As you can see below that, they have the SOCKS 5 proxy, which is nice. You can embed that kind of into your BitTorrent app and just automatically protect your traffic with a anonymous shared IP address. You can see they don't log. They have some protocols option. 5 simultaneous devices is very good. I consider that pretty standard. Some VPNs out there really limit you to one or just a couple. Free VPNs really limit you. Right here we have the amount of servers. This is really good too, since private internet access is a pretty big VPN. They're able to pump out these servers and give you pretty good speeds in a variety of countries. Down below you could see that you could pay with a gift card, and I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. That's one of the few VPNs that you could do so. But you can also pay with Bitcoin or other anonymous cryptocurrencies. There's not too many on offer though, just I think a couple, maybe Dash or something like that. But maybe Zcash is what it was. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what. So this is what it's going to look like when you're trying to pay with Bitcoin now. You're going to see this QR code. You can either use your cell phone with some kind of wallet app and scan the code and send the payment that way, or you can do the more advanced method by copying the address and making sure you have the right amount of funds to send private internet access to complete the payment. So right here I'm actually looking at how much it's actually going to cost to pay for a month of private internet access. And it was actually a little more than 7.9 USD because there's a fee on the website I was using to send the Bitcoin. So 7.9, it's going to be a little bit of a fee, a processing fee you could see on there. So it's a little more expensive, about $1 more than a $6.95. So you gotta have to keep that in mind if you're planning on paying like cryptocurrency or something like that. There's going to be a little bit of fees tacked on for the extra anonymity. Gift cards are always a good payment if you'd rather do something like cash. So you can see right here that my invoice has been paid. Use my own credit card or my own cryptocurrency option here. This is not a sponsored private internet access review. We're not getting free copy here, so keep that in mind. So once you go ahead and pay for private internet access, you're going to be sent 3 emails. One's going to have your login information, and then another one's going to kind of send you to this page, and it's actually going to start downloading a file that's a .exe, but that's not the one you want. You want the installer package, which you can see where my mouse was. You want to click on that and install that, because that's what's actually going to install the program. So right here we have private internet access, and we're going to take a look at some of the features that it has. Right here you can see that it has a little bit of features, configuring the region and the language and things like that. When you install it, it actually kind of likes to hide in your taskbar. So you're going to go to your taskbar like in this image, and it's going to be this little red icon. You're going to right click on it, and then it's going to open up some settings, and you're going to want to go to the settings, and if you want to look at it like this way. So this is where you're going to enter in your username and your password. You should have gotten this in a little bit. So right here, let's go over some of the features. We have a connection type. It's good to see you can kind of customize this. We have some port options. We have request port forwarding. Here we have a nice feature called, this actually looks kind of new. Blocks ad trackers and malware when you're connected to the VPN, so that's cool to see. Got a VPN kill switch, which is cool. So if your internet disconnects, when your VPN disconnects, so that way you're not leaking your IP. So let's say the VPN kind of dies or something, then your internet's not going to leak any information. So we also have some DNS leak protection here. That's good to see. IPv6 leak protection. You could put this on already. We could go ahead and cancel this for now, but usually it's pretty good to put it on. So this is saying it's going to modify your DNS a little bit. Could cause issues potentially later on, but I would say put it on unless you're having issues with it. And we don't really want to use this. We're not using a mobile network, so we could go ahead and look at the encryption rate too. It's good to see that they have this here. This is going to be the weakest encryption to use. That is still pretty good. This is going to be the best you can use. So this is probably good for most people. I would recommend using this in censored countries or something like that. But AES-128 is really good. And same here. SHA-1 pretty good. This even better. So if you want the best encryption and the highest security, these are the options you're going to want to pick. Handshake. This is pretty good right here. So the default settings are going to be right here, as you could see. You're going to get the best speeds with this, but for the purposes of testing, we're going to have to go with this because this is really industry standard. This is the strongest encryption you're going to be using. So, well, there it goes again. Gonna have to find it. All right, here it is. So we could look at some of the connection settings. So encryption. So as you could see, the application is kind of minimalist in how it operates. It's almost like, it's switching things like this. I kind of wish it was a little more straightforward. It's almost like so simple that it's kind of confusing sometimes, the way it keeps going back to your taskbar and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and start testing actually connecting to a server. So right here I have a screenshot just because it's kind of annoying to film both parts of my screen. So this is what it's going to look like when you're going to connect. So you're going to click on the taskbar like I showed before, and you're going to want to pick which server you want to pick. So we're kind of already logged in here, so let's go ahead and connect right now. So here we go, we're connecting right now. See, it kind of doesn't let you change settings when you're connected. So I should be connected right now. Let's go ahead and do a speed test. Okay, so we're doing a speed test right here. Let's go ahead and test. See what kind of speeds we get. Pretty good ping so far. So I have really fast internet, so it's looking like pretty good speed so far. Let's speed test. Good download rate. And good upload rate. So you can see my IP right here is private internet, this LA server. So let's go ahead and test the torrent download, because that's more of like a real world test. You could see what kind of speeds you're going to get when you're torrenting. So I'm going to test out a Ubuntu Linux or whatever download, and we're going to test and see how quick that torrent. So if you ever want to test kind of like the speeds of your VPN, this is a good way to do it. You could go to a website like this and go ahead and download their torrent file, so you can get a pretty good estimation of like what kind of speeds you're going to get with your VPN. So right now I'm going to go ahead and start this download, and we could just kind of see what kind of speeds you're going to be able to get. And you can see down here, usually it takes a while to start off, so we got the VPN active right now, and let's see what kind of speeds we're going to get.
So right now we're getting pretty good speeds, nothing too amazing. 2.6 megabytes a second, so it's not too bad. It's definitely usable, you know. It's gonna download this maybe in a couple of minutes. Overall, decent speeds, nothing too crazy here for the torrenting. You see, it's a little more realistic, real world test, so yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So right here we're going to be doing some tests right now to see what kind of leaks we're going to get. So looks like right now there's no forward IP. Looks like our IP here is good. WebRTC, if you're not connected to a VPN and you see your IP, okay, so no leaks here. Doesn't look like there's any leaks here. Looks like, you know, it says we're in Los Angeles, which we're not, so that's a good sign. And yeah, it looks pretty good. So we're not getting any leaks, so that's a good sign.
So we looked at the pricing, overall pretty good. We looked at the application, pretty good too. Speeds on torrenting were maybe a tiny bit slow, but the browsing is fine and everything. So what about some other things like so censorship filters or things like Netflix? Now, you're not going to be able to access Netflix with private internet access. They have a lot of IPs and a lot of people are using them. So Netflix is easily able to route out PIA. So you're going to have to use a couple different options if you want to use Netflix. So I'm making an updated video on that soon, but the basic TLDR is that TorGuard sells dedicated IP addresses that you can use for Netflix. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about customer service. So does private internet access have live chat? So what happened to PIA's live chat? So right here it says mainly it's some kind of security concern. It's a little weird. So they used to have kind of intermittent live chat. So right now they don't have any live chat, but you can still access their support. Live chat's always a good thing, so it's kind of sad to see it's not here. So maybe support, maybe thumbs down a little bit, but if you have a problem, you could probably still talk to them pretty easily. In the past, I talked to them and they had pretty decent support. So one other thing I kind of look for from a VPN is, you know, some kind of forum community. It's kind of hidden down here, but let's go check out the forum. It's good to see, you know, active participation and some kind of support. Looks like we got a couple announcements kind of down here, and then we got some categories. So let's see here, general discussion. Let's see, looks to be pretty active, which is a good sign. Popcorn time. Let's see what this person's saying. Yep, just connect to PIA. So overall, it's kind of cool. They have support on their website, so through the forum. So that's cool to see. You know, a lot of VPNs don't really have like active forum communities like that, so that's a plus. So far, private internet access has checked a lot of boxes. Some other things I kind of look for to really differentiate like this level of VPN from like this level is things like extra services. So does this VPN provide, you know, extras for the privacy community? Does it have encrypted email? Does it have VPN routers? Does it have some kind of like extra mile that it goes to work for users internationally, like in China? You know, a lot of these things I'm not really seen with private internet access. I've kind of done research in the past, so you know, they say they can unblock censorship filters, but they don't have as robust of stealth options, a stealth VPN that I've seen some other VPNs have. You know, I really like how they have gift cards as options and good cryptocurrency payments, but you know, they could have some more cryptocurrencies accepted. It looks like it's mostly like Bitcoin and Zcash. You know, I'd like to see Monero or some other kind of Dash coin, some kind of other coins like that supported. But overall, I think their application has improved with a lot of good features they've added. Yeah, so overall, let's sum up this review right now. So we already went over all the core fundamental parts of private internet access, and I want to do a little bit behind the scenes. So all this stuff doesn't really probably matter too much to you as the end user, but
But these are definitely some things to consider when thinking about trusting private internet access as your number one VPN provider. Usually when I look at a VPN, I try to look up if there's any dirt I can find on any sketchy things in the past that might concern me as a potential customer. So here's some things I found out about private internet access. Although this might anger some of the private internet access fans out there, it's not my intention. I'm just trying to educate you on what I see as the full story. So one thing you want to know about private internet access is that Roger Ver is an advisor. Well, let's just say he's a very outspoken member of the cryptocurrency community. He's super wealthy, apparently has tons and tons of Bitcoin, and he was one of the reasons why the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash fork happened. A lot of people suspected that he was trying to kind of sabotage Bitcoin and kind of take it down. That's why you're going to see some shirts like this on the internet. It's Roger Ver killed Bitcoin. Now, depending on which side you're on, Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin, it doesn't really matter. It can't really be argued that Bitcoin is one of the most revolutionary technologies today, and to kind of try to sidetrack it, it doesn't seem like the best idea. But besides that, even if Bitcoin Cash does have merit with some of its technology, you got to consider that some of the things he is doing on places like Twitter just isn't that, noble. So here we go. We have a conversation today on the Litecoin subreddit with Roger Ver talking to Charlie, who's the developer of Litecoin, and he's asking Charlie why he wasn't invited to some kind of trade that's coming up. So here you can see them talking about it now. He's saying, "Why wasn't I invited? I'll gladly accept. You're economically illiterate if you think restricting the supply of block space is a good thing." Now this just seems kind of like a douchey move, and Charlie actually calls him out on it. He says, you don't have to make insults, and since we're both public figures on Twitter, you gotta hold your word. So, well, anyways, yeah. So he does stuff like that. Now, if you want to use a VPN with someone like that on board, I don't know about that. Another thing is that in the past I kind of covered an article about this, about how private internet access fired their entire support team. When you go on the website now, you can see that they don't have one, and that's because of security reasons. So at this point in time in June, people were complaining about private internet access's support, so they said they were going to hire a brand new staff and have personal private internet access trained people, working for people. And he says things will improve and queues will return to normal and things are going to be better. But as of right now, there is no live chat, so that never really got sorted out. Some other things, I've been getting some emails from people, and some people have problems with the private internet access. Here's a guy. You could check out this article in the link down below, but you can see here some people having some bad complaints with private internet access, just to find a couple. Searching all the way back primarily in May, I was finding those tweets. But yeah, as you can see here, I did some speed tests and kind of redid my verdict on my review on the website, and I found it to be still pretty usable.